Real quickly before we begin, I want to thank this video's sponsor, CarMarshal.com. CarMarshal.com can save you lots of money on buying used or new vehicles, cars, trucks, school buses. If you want to save money, I'll have a link in the description down below. I know I'm going to...
Hamilton County deputy is charged with excessive use of force. It comes after the Not On Your Side I-Team revealed security footage of this incident last year. So according to the United States Attorney's Office, a federal grand jury has charged Jason Mize with using unreasonable force while on duty. Not On Your Side investigator Craig Cheatham has been following this case for more than a year. It involves a 61-year-old man who sued Mize and Sheriff Jim Neal. The suit claims Mize threw him into a wall and left him bleeding on a cell floor. The Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office declined to present the case to a grand jury, and a settlement with the victim was reached. Now, Mize has been arrested by FBI agents and faces 10 years in jail if convicted. The 31-year-old has since resigned from that department.
Watch, cop arrested for shoving innocent elderly man into concrete wall, breaking his face and hip. After being caught on video savagely hurling an elderly innocent man into a concrete wall, causing him to break his hip, a deputy was finally arrested this week. By Matt Agarist, May 18, 2018. Cincinnati OH's Cincinnati cop is actually being held accountable this week after a disturbing video showed him shove an elderly man so hard that he smashed his face on a concrete bench and broke his hip. On Thursday, former Hamilton County Sheriff's Deputy Jason Mize was arrested after he was federally indicted on a charge of deprivation of rights under the color of law. The now former deputy was seen on video attacking 61-year-old Mark Myers, who was only in jail after being falsely accused of a crime. According to Cincinnati.com, Myers was arrested August 20, 2016 after being accused of walking out of a Columbia Township Home Depot without paying for $120 in lighting and electrical equipment, a charge that ultimately resulted in an acquittal. He said there had been a computer error related to an online payment he'd already made. In the video, Mize is seen throwing the elderly man into a holding cell so hard that he went flying into the concrete bench, suffering multiple lacerations to his head and a broken hip. The incident happened in August of 2016 at the Hamilton County Justice Center. It was captured on the jail's extremely low-quality surveillance video. However, it is clear enough to see a crime take place. 1 year ago, Myers sued both Mize and Sheriff Jim Neal, claiming he suffered severe injuries after hitting his head on the concrete wall. Last week, the lawsuit was settled and the taxpayers of Cincinnati shelled out $500,000 to pay for Mize's crimes. According to the lawsuit, an internal affairs report said that Mize's direct supervisor claimed that shoving the elderly man into a concrete wall and bench, causing him to break his hip, did not go against the policy of the jail. The prosecution agreed and they declined to press charges. However, all that appears to be changing now. This overt use of excessive force and subsequent cover UPS seems to be an ongoing problem in Hamilton County. Even a former jailer has spoken out in the form of a lawsuit against Sheriff Neal and the county, claiming that she was fired for exposing their use of excessive force. Former Major Charmaine McGuffey actually tried to get Mize held accountable for his attack on Myers, but this was to no avail. In the Internal Affairs report, former Major McGuffey is quoted as saying, "Mize should be arrested or fired for his actions." The report concluded Mize violated our standards, which rise to the level of dishonesty and excessive force, along with other internal violations, and disciplinary action is required. McGuffey took over the jail when it was the worst in the state. However, in just 3 years she turned it into one of the best. She was named Law Enforcement Officer and Public Citizen of the Year for her efforts. However, when she tried to expose the jail's extensive record of excessive force, that's when they took her out. It appears that although the state prosecution allowed Mize to escape any accountability, his case was turned over to the FBI, who actually charged him. During a hearing on Thursday, federal prosecutors told a judge there were multiple incidents in which he'd used excessive force on inmates. Each time, Mize was disciplined, but he was never fired. Larry Davis. At Larry Davis. During a detention hearing, federal prosecutors say they have been made aware of other incidents where Jason Mize punched, slammed, and put inmates in chokeholds. Also say he made boasts on Facebook at Local 12. 5:33 p.m., May 17, 2018. 2. See Larry Davis's other tweets. Twitter adds info and privacy. Mize's attorney told the judge that his client worked in a tough environment which required tough decisions. Apparently, shoving an elderly man into a concrete wall and breaking his hip is one of those tough decisions Mize had to make to keep the citizens of Cincinnati safe. FBI agents arrested Mize on Thursday and he was released on his own recognizance shortly thereafter, which the judge saying he did not see Mize as a threat to the public. Mize will have to meet several conditions, however, including drug and alcohol testing and a mental evaluation. If Mize is convicted, he faces up to 10 years in prison.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I just wanted you to know that I am using this stuff under fair use. And also remember to like and subscribe this channel. Also too, keep in mind I do not make any money on YouTube. This is 5 hours work a day, you know, fighting for freedom. And you can donate with PayPal and Patreon. I just want you to think about this. If everybody gives to PayPal and Patreon, Patreon is every month. Actually, PayPal you can do every month. I have 12,000 subscribers. If everybody gives, I can quit my regular job and go full-time investigations on Charlotte County and possibly even more and beyond. So just keep that in mind. If everybody helps out, I can go full-time doing this. Thanks.